So let's go ahead and make that function can see target, and then it returns a boolean. First we're going to do an if vector3 dot distance, the distance between transform position and target position. If that's less than, or if that's greater than attack range, then just return false. Remember how earlier attack range equaled 100, I think? Where did I put it? Oh, you know what? That was the one I deleted. So, if I remember correctly, that just equaled 20. So, just put 20 there. So, if it's greater than 20, the distance between the target and our patrol, then we don't really want to do anything below this if statement. So we're just going to return false, and it's not going to call any of what's below it. But if it's less than 20, we're going to do this. We're going to create a new var, call it hit, raycast hit is what type it's going to be, and if physics line cast, and this is going to return true if there's a collider intersecting the line between the start and end. So it's going to create a line between our patrol right here, the transform position, and our target, which is our player. And if anything's in between that, then it's going to return false. So physics line cast transform dot position and target dot position. And we also want to put in hit, which is this raycast hit. If you watched the muzzle flash tutorial, you'll know that this hit is gonna give us the information of where that's hit. So, in case you didn't know, that's what hit's gonna do. So if there's nothing in between the line cast, return hit.transform equals target, which is inevitably going to be true. And make an else if. So this statement is only going to be checked if this is false. So else if exclamation mark, which is equal to not. So if not physics line cast transform position target position, if there's something in between the line, like if something's intersecting it, then we actually want to return true. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And also, if none of this is happening, let's just assume that it's false. Now back up in our instantiate bullet function, I'm just going to go ahead and write that code really fast because I don't really feel like it needs explaining because this is an AI tutorial, so I'm going to go ahead and do all that. Tech event dot time and in case you want to know, the time is when our attack event is going to be calling instantiate bullet. So animation attack. Right here we're just going to instantiate the fireball object. Clone equals instantiate fireball. Just like our enemy bot script, hand position and rotation. Ignore the collision between our clone and our collider. Then let's add some forward velocity. So clone, rigid body, velocity, equals transform direction vector 3 dot forward times 20, and then destroy, and then add the bullet script the bullet script it's funny to say, but just like we did in the enemy bot script, we added that script in code. Equals clone game object, add component, and this is why that bullet script naming was so important, that it was the same. Then add the player shooting. Okay. I'm gonna do Control S to save. It's probably gonna give us an error. Oh, 414. Didn't put an equal sign. Okay. Unknown identifier 41. Pick next waypoint. They'll probably be fixed after we're done with our whole script, but just make sure to save it so you don't lose all your work. Okay, in the attack player function that's called right here, if we can see our target, we haven't made that yet, so let's make it. Function attack player. It's going to make a var called last visible player position, and it equals target dot position. And while the script is equal to true, we want to call a target equals null if statement, because if we forgot to drag our player into our target in our inspector, then it's gonna just name it null, and that's important so we don't crash our game. So if target equals null, return. And that also makes our script much more efficient. Make a new var, call it distance, make it equal to vector3 dot distance, same thing, transform dot position, target dot position, and if distance is greater than not shoot range, but 20 times 3, I think, let me see. Oh, we actually did define shoot range. It was that other distance that we deleted, so actually change this to shoot range times 3. Okay. The distance greater than the shoot range, just return. We also want to update our last visible player position. We want to make it equal to target that position again. And if distance is greater than don't come closer range, we're going to move towards last visible player position. Again, move towards is a function we have not made, but just know that the move forwards is going to move our transform towards a given vector, which is this, our position, our last visible player position. Why it's called last visible player position is because, say we go outside that wall. Right now we're behind it. If we go over here, he's going to spot us and start running towards me. But if I go back and hiding behind this wall, he's going to keep on moving towards the last visible player position, because that's what smart AI does. It doesn't stop after you. It doesn't know where you are. It's going to want to find out where you went, so it's going to keep on heading towards that that position until 3 seconds later. So 3 seconds later, it's just going to give up. But we'll define all that later. And we also want to do if the distance is less than or equal to, I like how I spell it right, don't come closer range. Then rotate towards last visible player position. And that's another function we have not made. It is a function in Unity right now, in the default Unity API, but we aren't going to use it. We're just going to make our own and override it. And in this if statement, we want to make another if statement. So if can see target equals true, if this returns true, do animation stuff. Run, oops, run dot enabled equals false. So if we're really close, if this distance is less than don't come closer range, just stop running, stop playing that animation. And we also want to play the attack animation, because that's what we're going to be doing when the player is close enough. So crossfade cued, attack. The reason why I do crossfade cued instead of crossfade is because we're stopping our run animation right there. So it'd look kind of awkward if we just crossfaded it. So I just did crossfade cued. Temp attack time is equal to animation attack, oops, square brackets, animation attack clip dot length, and then divide that by 0.1. So that takes care of when you're really close. Control S to save it so we don't lose any work. And then if this isn't true, and if this isn't true, and if this and this isn't true, we're gonna do this. So else yield start coroutine search player. Again, that's another function we haven't made. Told you there was a lot of functions in here. And when you're doing a start coroutine, if you put a comma and another parameter, that's going to be the parameter we pass into the search player. So last visible player position. Then if cannot see target, just return. Then outside of that, yield Control S. Let's go ahead and make that search player function. And I'm just gonna save after this, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what's going on here, because we're writing a lot of script. I'm not showing you anything visual, so it's not going to be much right now because our script is not finished. But Control S, save our scene so we don't lose anything, just in case we crash. And let's play it. Ignore the errors. Play it again. So right now, he's just being idle. The reason is because we have not made the move towards function. We have not made the rotate towards function, and it doesn't even know what pick next waypoint is. And we have not even set up any waypoints in our scene, so That's why he's just being idle, because that's what he does when nothing's happening. It's just being idle.